Hello and welcome to Saturday Morning with Mindful Makers. Thanks everyone for tuning in with me for our first ever show. I just wanted to take a moment to just say thank you, and I'm very excited this morning when I was getting ready. I got that first day of camp kind of tingly feeling. And so this is a very exciting moment for me and for our team that have been working on putting this little show together. And yeah, I'm just really excited to be at home with you because we haven't been able to get together in person. It's been quite a few long months, and I'm just have a renewed sense of energy about what we're doing now that we can kind of be together. And I hope things go smoothly today. Of course, it's our first live stream, so there are bound to be some technical issues that may crop up. So please feel free to let us know if things aren't looking good on your end, or if there's anything we can fix for next week. So with that said, I'm going to introduce our craft today. We're going to be together for about an hour, and yeah, we're just gonna, hopefully you'll be able to craft along with us and make something really special, and something maybe you'll give away as a gift. I think these little notebooks are just so adorable, and I hope you'll make one for yourself, and maybe you'll want to keep making more and give them away to friends and family. Let's see who's here. So if you're here, please say hello. Yay, Agatha's here. I was hoping you would come, Agatha. So excited. And my sister Anna's here. And my niece and nephew. Awesome. That's fantastic. And we also have Carissa. She is kind of behind the scenes at home, helping along, making sure things go smoothly. So if you guys have been to camp before, you'll remember Carissa. She's in the chat too. Wonderful. Okay, sorry about the delay. So I'm going to show off now a few samples of that I made. So I am actually just so in love with this tiny little pocket-sized notebook. This is the one I'll be focusing on today. It's just so adorable. And I've made a little closure with just a regular elastic band. And I added a bookmark too. So the nice thing about this is that it fits an IKEA pencil, a golf pencil there. So you can kind of travel with it, keep it in your bag, and it's nice for taking notes. So if you've participated in our summer kit, our essentials kit, you'll probably have made one of these large notebooks, or if you've been to our camp before, it's our first day activity. So if you come to a full week camp, first day we always make notebooks. And because they're so versatile and they are just so handy for so many things. So if you've made one in the past, let us know how you've used it. We'd love to hear. And we're going to be running actually a contest this week. So if you make a book at home and take a photo, send us that photo or tag us if you share on social media, and you'll be entered into a draw to win one of the books that I'm making on the show today. So that's kind of a fun little thing we've got going on. And also just a thank you to everyone who's participating in the live show today. We're also going to be doing a draw at the end. So just leave your comments, and if your name, Chris will be writing down your names, and she'll be doing a draw at the end for one of our tiny notebooks. So the process that we're going to be going through today, you can do, it's the same process for any size book. And we like to, we're going to be making the small one just because it's faster to do. It's less stitching. So we'll be able to fit it into an hour. But if you want to make a full-size notebook, please go ahead and just follow along the same steps. You'll notice that I have a couple other ones, and these are just ones we've made in the past. This one is made without sewing, but it is using staples. So if you want to just make a bunch of little quick ones, instead of sewing, you can use staples to bind the pages together. But we're going to go a little step further and do the whole sewing step, because it's a nicer way to make books, and it means you can actually add more pages in your books when you sew them. So I'm going to put some things aside here, and we're going to get started. So if you're making a full-size notebook, you're going to be using a full sheet of printer paper. And that's just, regular printer paper, 20 pound. So you're going to be using the full sheet folded in half, okay? And that's the finished size of your book. But I'm going to be working on the mini book, so I'm going to put the big one aside. And I'm going to be using quarter sheets. So a quarter sheet, you might already guess what a quarter sheet might be. Yes, it's 1/4 of a big sheet of paper, okay? So to cut down your sheets, if you want to make the mini one, you could use a paper trimmer if you have one. I like using this Fiskars one. Or if you don't have a paper trimmer, that's okay. The easy way to divide up your sheet is by folding it in half, and then of course folding it in half again. And that way you'll see the little lines. So you don't really need to measure it. And you can use scissors or you can use a knife and you can just cut those up. So you might want to try cutting all of them at once. For our book today, we're going to need, we're going to do a total of 20 sheets. So if you're doing quarter sized, you'll need 5 sheets total. So I'm going to give this a go along with you guys if you're doing this at home. I'm going to try doing it the hard way without the paper trimmer just to see how it goes. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to see if this works out to cut them all at the same time. So I've got my one that I folded as my guide. And something that's going to help me with the pages from shifting are these little binder clips. I love these clips. I have them in every single size they come in because they're just so handy. Hi, Luella and Molly. Thanks for joining us. I hope you guys are crafting along with us. It's so nice to see that our campers are joining in. Okay, so I've just tossed a couple clips on there and I'm going to see how this goes with just cutting it up right on the line. Of course, this is using basic tools. If you have fancy tools that give more precise results, you should definitely use those. But sometimes all you got is scissors. That's okay. There's a way to do it. So I just cut down the middle. Okay, I might move my clip over and then I'm going to cut this in half. It might be hard for you to see the fold line on my camera. There you go. Okay, that's working out pretty well. I'll toss the clips back on this one. Okay, so any point in my process here, you guys have questions, please put them in the chat, okay? And I'll do my best to look up every now and then and see what's happening to see if I can answer your questions. Now these, this show is being recorded thanks to YouTube, so it will be available for you to rewatch later if you miss any steps, okay? There you go. That was a quick, easy way to get all your quarter sheets. And this is a great way to use up scrap paper too. So the next thing we want to do is fold our sheets in half. So we always say fold it in half like a hamburger, not like a hot dog. So that just means you're folding, the short edges are going to be touching. And then you just fold it in half. So that's going to be the pages for the mini book. Okay, so just go ahead and start folding your sheets. Chris is getting on top of things and already starting to write down everyone's names for our draw. And the one tip here while you're starting to fold your sheets is starting to stack them inside each other. So what we're going to be creating is something called a signature. So I have our little vocabulary sheet here. If you've never heard of this term, it might be new to you if you've never made books. So signature it's that thing that you do when you sign checks, right? But it's also in bookbinding terms. It means the sections of the pages. So it'll be a little more obvious as we start to work and create the book. But just so you know what that word means, we're going to be creating a total of 5 signatures with 4 pages in each. So that means I need a total of 20 pages, right? Because 4 times 5 is 20. So I've got 1, 2, 3. Once I have 4 folded and stacked together, 1, 2, 3, 4, then I can kind of stack them up and close them up and put them to the side. And then I know that one's done and I can make my next pile. So we're going for a total of 5 signatures. Okay. And if you have our essentials kit and you have your bookbinding kit, you'll probably already have some of the tools that you need to do this. But if you don't have our essentials kit, that's fine. We can show you alternate ways. So there's a special tool we're going to be using in the next step that I have an alternate for. There's 4. So I know this is a long weekend and I want to hear about if you guys have any plans for the weekend. It's Thanksgiving on Monday, right? I want to know what you're going to be cooking for dinner, if you're going to be going anywhere. I know a lot of things are closed or there's restrictions on what you can do. But I hope everyone's going to be finding their own way to still make a memorable Thanksgiving. I'm going to be getting some takeout. I'm going to take a break from cooking, even though I do love to cook. Okay. All of those local businesses need our business, right? All those restaurants. So it's good to support your local business. So let me guys know if you're going to be making the mini book along with me, or if you might be inventing your own book. All right, almost at the end of my stack here. I find bookbinding to be a nice relaxing activity because it is repetitive and you kind of get into a flow. So it's good to have some music going while you work. There we go. Last page. Super. So I've got my 5 signature sets all folded up. There we go. And the next thing I'm going to do is grab my book cradle. Now, I mentioned that this comes with the Essentials kit, but if you don't have a book cradle, what you can do is grab a scrap of cardboard and a push pin, okay? And this is what we're going to use to poke our holes for sewing. But if you have the cradle and your awl, you can definitely use that because it is a better tool. You'll get more accurate results. Now, the first thing we have to do is create, no matter if you're using the scrap of cardboard or your cradle, we have to create a hole punching guide. And this is going to be a scrap piece of paper. So you could make another quarter sheet. I'm using a different color paper because it makes it easier to find it amongst all the stuff. So the quarter, so whatever size book you're doing, it has to be the guide sheet has to be the about the same size. It has to be at least the same width. So if you're doing a full sheet, you need a larger sheet. If you're doing the mini, it just has to be another one of your quarter sheets, okay? And I'll help you with the measurements. So just take that sheet of paper, fold it in half again, and then open it up so you can see the crease. And for this, you're going to need a ruler and a pencil. So because this is a little bit of an odd size, your measurements are not going to be all the same. So for the quarter sheets, it's coming up as 4 1/4 inches. And I like to use inches because it just works out more evenly than centimeters. So I'm going to use 3/4 inches as my spacing guide. Now you don't have to use 3/4. You could make up your own. You could even just eyeball it. You don't have to use a ruler. Like you could just decide you want to make your hole here, 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 and here. But just for the sake of the demo, I'm going to be using my ruler and measuring. So I'm taking a 3/4 inch mark here and then just marking 3/4 until I run out of room. There, there. Yeah, there, it looks good. Now the last one will be a little bit bigger, I think. I messed up somehow, but that's okay. Oh yeah, my first measurement was off. That's why we have erasers, right? Okay, the first one wasn't 3/4. There we go. Yeah, 3 and this one. And then the last one will have a 1/2 inch. Something like that. Okay. We're not gonna be too fussy with it. So basically you want to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 holes. And then you'll take your cradle and you'll put it back in. And we're just going to use our awl and poke onto where we made our marks. So the nice thing about the book cradle is that it creates that V shape, and so your page just wants to nest in there, and you get it perfect every time on the crease. So if you don't have a book cradle, I'll just show you here. You just want to have something to poke into. So you're going to use your push pin and poke on the crease where you've made your marks. Okay, and don't worry too much about like the spacing being perfect, because if you use your guide, it's going to be perfect every time going forward. So I'm going to now that I have my guide, I'm going to take my first set of signatures, or my first set of pages, put them in the cradle, and make sure you're always pushing it to one side. And then you can put your guide on top because this is going to show us where to poke. Now you can take your awl and just poke through all the layers of your pages. For my next one, I'll show you how to do on the cardboard. Anna says, Lucy cat came to snuggle. Yes. Well, I have a cat named Hagrid. Some of you might have heard about Hagrid. And I actually had to close the door to my studio because he would be right up on my table right now. He was in here earlier because he just wants attention. And you know what? It would be a little distracting. We might bring him in later. So that's what your first set should look like, with the holes all in the crease. Once you've poked it, just move on to your next one. And for my next one, I'll show you how to do it just on the scrap of cardboard. So just take your pages, put your guide sheet on top, and if you have clips or paper clips, it's always helpful to put it on because that way the pages don't shift around. So you'll just poke right into the cardboard. And you're poking through all 4 layers of your sheets. Okay. So just do that until you've got all 5 sets done. You like, yes, this is a great alternative, Carissa, because sometimes we just gotta make with what we have, right? And I just want to point out to any teachers that are watching our show that this is an activity that is so wonderful to do with your class because they can use these books in all sorts of projects. Both of my sisters are teachers, and one of them, she's been doing this with her class over the last few years. She always borrows all of our materials and our tools because we have camp sets. So by the end of the summer, we're done with it. But this is something you can do with your class too, because all the materials are easy to find. Okay. There you go. And you will get faster as you go. So I've just got one more set to do. Yes, Hagrid is very fluffy. Fluffy kitty. There we go, last set. Don't worry if I'm going a little faster than you are, because like I said, you can always rewatch this video later to catch up. But I love that you guys are here with me today. Thank you for coming. Okay, so put your sharp objects away when you're done with them. I have my cactus here, my needle felted cactus that I like to store my awl in when I'm not using it. And now that I have all of my sets with holes poked, you want to do things in order and just get them all done in batches. I'm ready to start sewing. So I'm going to grab my box of thread. This is my little homemade box that I made with my essentials kit, and it's where I keep all my sewing supplies. So I'm going to grab some thread, and you're going to need a needle. And when you, if you order the bookbinding kit from us, it comes with a blunt needle. So you can use a sharp needle. Any needle will work as long as you can thread it. Blunt or sharp will both work fine. I like using the blunt just because then I don't poke myself accidentally. It doesn't need to be sharp because we've already pre-poked the holes. So when you're ready to start sewing, you want to grab your thread and use your wingspan. So that's one arm stretched out to the other arm. And that's how much thread you want to cut off. You need a long piece because we're going to be doubling it up. And it's not fun to run out in the middle of a sewing project. So that's why I always like to use more thread than I think I might need. So get it through your needle and then double your thread. And then, so your tails are meeting. So you should have two threads. And make a loop, and then put your tail through the loop. Okay, now knot making just comes with practice, so it's a good opportunity to practice. If you have a really long tail, you can just give it a quick snip. So it's important that we double up our thread for this step because it's important to the process. We're going to be sewing one set at a time. So you want to hold it open like a tent. Now to stop your pages from moving around, you can go ahead and grab those clips again. If you don't have these little binder clips, a paper clip should do the trick as well. I just like these because they have that clamping action. Odin is here now too. I bet Odin the cat is helping along. My niece has a lot of animals. Lucy and Odin and Meadow. Meadow is their dog. Okay, so I have my pages clipped, and you want to work with it so it looks kind of like a tent or a mountain. And we always start with the needle at the top of the tent. And just choose one of the holes closest to the edge and insert your needle. Okay, and then you're going to pull it through. But don't pull it through all the way. Okay, you want to stop when you have a tail just hanging out with a few inches there. Then you'll bring your needle up through the next hole. And you're going to pull, but don't pull all the way. Now see where you've left the tail? You should be able to split open the thread and find your magical loop. I call this a magical loop because you're going to put your needle through and pull until you've pulled up all the slack. And this is what we do at camp to test it. If you can make your book fly, if you pull on it and the thread doesn't come loose, then you know you've done it correctly. Okay, so that's the only time you need to do that, is just your first starting stitch. And you can pull, if you want, pull the thread so it's closer to the next hole. And then you just keep stitching. So just gonna stitch in and out of those holes that we made. Nice and easy. Because they're pre-poked, it shouldn't be too difficult. But if your pages have shifted at all, that's when you might have some difficulty getting your needle through. So once you get to the end, you're just going to work your way back up and reuse the same holes so that we fill in those gaps. So you should have a solid line of stitching. And yes, of course, the thread likes to get caught on the clips. And watch out for tangles. So your finished stitching should look something like this. If you want, you can take your stitching over the edge, but it's not necessary. So and then to end it, you're back up at the top of your tent. So you should see that little knot that you made earlier. I like to end it on this side because you don't actually see this side when the book is finished. All you'll be able to see is your beautiful neat stitching on the inside. Okay, so to end it, just pass your needle underneath one of the stitches and pull it slowly till you see, again, magical loop. And you're going to bring your needle underneath the loop. So when you pull it through, it should be making a little knot. So just watch closely and make sure it does make a knot. You can always do it again if you're not sure if it made a knot. And just for extra security, 2 knots are always better than 1. Don't worry if this gets a little messy looking, because again, you're not going to see it. It's going to be the spine that's hidden on the inside of your book. You won't see this side. We're going to be adding glue here later too. Okay, that's my first signature sewn. And we're just going to repeat that 4 more times to get all of our signatures binded up. And if you have I might have enough actually still left to reuse this thread, but if you feel like it's getting short, just go ahead and grab some more thread. You can switch colors too if you have different colors of threads. Oh, thank you for your compliment there, Carissa. Beautiful stitching. Question: should Carissa enter the cats' names for the draw? I think if the cats can do some stitching, then they're definitely eligible. All right, I'm just going to keep working on my next. I'm going to do a couple more. Oop, I already forgot what I was doing. Always start at the top. Come up through the next. And go through your magical loop. I've done a lot of bookbinding, so I can do this pretty quickly. We whipped up our little samples last night in about half an hour total. So you do get better with practice. Darcy says, I have a pumpkin and juniper. Now, are those the names of your cats? Or your animals? Those are lovely names. I love them. My animals are named Hagrid, as I've already mentioned, and Penny. Penny is the newest addition to our household. We got Penny the dog in March. So right before everything shut down, we got a dog. And she's been just such a joy. I take her for walks every day. We go down to the river. And she makes me smile. And she's really good at cuddling on the couch. An important quality in a pet. Must be good at cuddling. All right, and I've lost my needle. There it is. Yes, we did get a dog. It's definitely more work than having a cat. But they're different. They're each different in their own way. And now, yes, Meadow, my niece's dog, Meadow, has a buddy. So when we go do our backyard visits, Meadow has a buddy to play with. Okay, I'm going to stitch up one more, and then I'm going to move on to how to glue them together, I think. We'll see how fast I can get this done. I'm just trying to be mindful of the time we have. I do have my little TV swap outs ready. In case we're short on time. The question for the audience, do you, with everyone with pets, do you find you're getting out more now since we've been in quarantine? Are you taking your pets out more because you're home more often? Okay, 3 done. Yes, Meadow loves her walk. Meadow has a lot of energy. She needs a lot of walks. Darcy says they don't go out more often. Hello to our new joiners. If you have come in partway, don't worry about missing anything because our videos will be available later to watch. But thanks for joining us. I hope if you've made books before that this project is a little bit different. Certainly the cover that I'm going to show you will be different method. So this is a good opportunity for me to mention that I did provide a template for today. So if you look in the description for this video, you will find a link to download this template. Okay, so if you have Parent handy to help you print this out, you're going to need this for the next step. So it will be helpful to get this ready. Of course, you can download it anytime as well if you want to do this later. If you just want to hang out and watch us for now. I'm going to do a different color for my last one. So that template is to help us make this cover, and you're going to need a box from some food, like a cereal box or really any food packaging that comes in that thin cardboard. It is perfect for making the covers. I'm going to show you in the next step. Okay, are you guys getting faster at your stitching? The more that you do? I hope so. Okay. All right, I managed to whip through those pretty quick, which is great because I'm ready for the next step. Put my needle away. Okay, so once you have all 5 signatures, you can, if you've done different color stitching, you might want to arrange them. So I'm going to arrange them this way. And then you'll grab your binder clips. Now it's important that you just get everything lined up nice and even, and you're going to add the clips onto the edge with the stitches. And for the next step, we're going to put them in our book press. So if you have our kit, it's these 2 pieces of cardboard, but if you don't, you can just use really any cardboard you have. You just need to sandwich it between 2 things. So could be 2 small books or just really 2 scraps of cardboard will work. And you can use the short edge or the long edge, it doesn't really matter. But I'm going to use it on this edge because it's easier to stand up. So just put it in the middle, and you want the clips to be poking out and on top, and then you're going to need 4 larger clips. And this is just to kind of pinch it in between, because we're going to take the little clips off, and this little stack up will keep your pages from moving around. So that's how I like to put my clips on, is 2 on the side close to the top edge where the pages are, and then 2 on the bottom. The nice thing about this design is that I can now stand it up on its own and it's ready for glue. So I can take the little clips off, and we're going to be adding glue to the top edge that has all the stitching. So you're going to have these little grooves, and the goal here with the glue is to basically fill those grooves with glue. So any white glue will work for this. The trick is to not use too much and not too little. So I like to add a bit, and you can use your finger or just the nozzle of the glue bottle and rub it into all of the grooves. So you shouldn't see any gaps. They should all get filled with glue, but you shouldn't have too many. Just don't use too much that it's all going to drip down the side. That is something we sometimes see. It's too much. Okay, so hopefully you can see that. Now this is going to need to dry over several hours, but you can get started on your book cover while this is drying. One thing you can also do, and this is optional, but if you would like to add a bookmark, I will show you how to do it because this is the step you want to add it at. So grab some yarn. I've got my little beautiful Mindful Makers branded yarn. Found this at the dollar store. I thought it was great. And you're going to cut off a length of yarn, so probably about double the size of your book. You can always trim it shorter later, but you want to add your bookmark about a couple centimeters or an inch from one of the edges. Now you are going to need to add extra glue and really add enough that it's soaking into the string. And if you have a really bulky yarn, you can use a bit of masking tape just to kind of hold it while it dries. So you can put tape on top just to hold it down. Okay. So that's how to add a bookmark. And yeah, like I said, it'll need to dry over probably at least 4 hours. Okay. Clean up your gluey fingers before you move on to your next step. I'm just going to put this off to the side to dry. Yeah, there you go. Just reading the comments. Yes, don't worry if you're not as quick as I am. I just want to make sure I get this done in about an hour. You guys can always, this video will be available right away, so you can always go back and watch. The next thing we want to make is our cover. So you want to download the template that's in the description and cut it out. So it'll be this size, and you're going to need some cardboard. Now I'm going to be using a cereal box. Cheerios. And you open up the box and you're going to find just a straight edge to kind of trace this on. So grab your pencil. And trace around. I like using this box board, cereal board, because you can cut it with scissors. You don't need any specialty tools. So again, it's very classroom friendly. Oh, and then one note is that actually we'll do the markings after I cut the big rectangle. So we're gonna have to mark where we have to score it. All right, here we go. So if you're crafting a lot at home, feel free to just keep stitching and working through in order. You probably aren't ready to make the cover just yet, but that's okay. All right. Hi, Mary. Thanks for joining us. Awesome. So I have a little recycling bin under my table here. So as I work, I put all my scraps in there. Keep things tidy. That's my tip. Just have a little bin handy. Okay, so there's my cut piece of cereal box board. And now I'm going to mark, see the dotted lines? That's what's going to become the spine. Here's my little TV swap out. So it's going to be just bent on those lines. We're not going to cut them, but this represents the space that the pages will take up. And I also have my little TV swap out of, this is my glued up set of pages, which is called a text block. So that's our other vocab word for today. Your text block is made up of 5 signatures. So this one I made last night, so the glue is nice and dry. And I'll be adding this into my cover in a little bit, but just so you know what this space is for. Okay, so I'm going to just put my template on top, and I want to just transfer those marks. So just make 2 little marks and then shift your template, transfer them to the bottom. Okay, and then you can take your ruler and just kind of connect those. And you guys probably can't see my pencil lines, so I'll switch to a marker. Now you're going to want to score those lines. Yes, don't worry, Mary, about catching up. Just come and hang out with us and just watch us craft. You'll be able to watch this video again right after we finish. So if you have a cardboard saw from our kit, you can use that, or you can use a box cutter knife, or you could probably also do this step with scissors. So I'll try it out with scissors because that's probably what everybody has. And we want to create a score right on the line we just made. So scoring is really just not cutting through all the way, but we're just kind of eating away at the top layer of the fiber here. And that just makes it easier to bend on the line. So scoring is an important thing we do a lot of when we're working with cardboard. Because if you were to try to bend on that line, it wouldn't go so well without scoring it. If you're using your cardboard saw, just remember you're using the side with the teeth facing towards your ruler. And this tool works really well for scoring as well. So once you've scored it, you can bend it. Okay, and give it a crease and use your fingers to, like the back of your thumbnail, or actually scissor handles are perfect for this too. So you can kind of burnish it. Do that again on this side. Mary says, I have observed Agnes teach kids how to safely use sharp objects at camp. Yes, we think kids can use sharp things as long as they're taught how to do it safely. And under proper supervision, obviously, as well. So don't be afraid to use real tools when you've got proper instruction. Okay, so there's the start of my cover. Now, I don't really want to see the Cheerios part. Maybe you do. Maybe you like that look. That's totally fine. You can use this cover as is. But if you would like to wrap it in some decorative paper, I'm going to show you how to do that. And for this, I'm going to use one of my favorite kinds of craft paper. And this is paper that we've made at camp. So if you've ever been to our jelly printing class, this is some paper that I made in one of those sessions. But you can use any kind of decorative paper, scrapbooking paper. The only thing to note is that it has to be thin. It can't be cardstock because we're going to be wrapping it around the edges. So it has to be like a printer paper, like 20 pound, so that you can wrap it easily. Now, wrapping paper also works really well for this as well. Or if you just have like colored thin paper. So I'm going to take my jelly print and I'm going to flip it over so the good side is facing down. And then I'll put my piece of cardboard that I just made on top. We're going to need a glue stick for this next step. And you want your piece of paper to be about 1 inch larger than your sheet. So this one's just a little bit oversized. So you can eyeball this step, or you can actually measure. You could take your ruler and do some measuring if you feel like it, but I'm just going to eyeball it about 1 inch larger all the way around. I would say minimum is probably about 1/2 inch, which is what I did on this guy here. You can see you need that extra for folding. So I'll just go ahead and trim that to size before I get started. Okay, so I'm using this purple glue stick. I like using the purple ones because it shows me when the glue is starting to dry. It like starts to fade back to clear. And that way it's a good indicator, as if it tells you if you're not using enough glue or if the glue is too dry. I can't really see the purple on the box board. That's okay. I'm just pushing hard with my glue stick and making sure I have lots and lots and lots of glue. Okay. You could probably do this with white glue if you don't have a glue stick, but white glue is a lot more, it's more wet. It's got more moisture in it. So glue sticks are really the best material to use. So cover the back with glue. And if you're working quickly enough, go ahead and add some glue to the page as well. And the reason I like to do that is because when you have glue on both of the surfaces that you're trying to join, you get a much better bond. It'll just stick nicer, more securely. Okay, so stick it down, flip it over, give it a good rub, make sure it's being bonded well, okay? So then we are going to cut our corners. So I have this fancy little tool that I like to use, and all it does is it provides a perfect 45-degree angle for me to cut, but obviously you guys probably don't have that. So all you can do, you can take your ruler or you can eyeball it, and you're just going to cut it at like a 45. Okay. You can do it straight with your scissors as well. So you're just trying to get rid of that extra paper. Cut your corners. A tool like this just makes it really, really precise, but it's not necessary. Okay, so cut your corners. Now, what we're doing is we're kind of like doing a gift wrap. We are wrapping our cover in some pretty paper. And now we're going to need our glue stick again. And I'm going to start on the long edge. Lots of glue, and again, glue on both surfaces. Really helps to bind it. Now here's the one trick that I recommend you do is you use the table to help you with the folding process. So what you're going to do is you're going to lift it, and then you're going to bring it back down and give it a little push, and then rub. And that makes your fold really nice and smooth. So I learned this technique from my friend Alistair, who is a bookbinder. And when he showed me that, it was kind of a game changer. So thank you, Alistair, for showing me your tips and tricks for your professional bookmaking. Alistair is one of our good friends. He often comes and helps us out at camp, and he just makes books all day long. That's pretty cool. Pretty cool job. So he helped us develop the books that we do at camp. Helped us perfect our technique. So once you've done the two long edges, go ahead and do your short ones. Doesn't really matter the order, as long as you get them all folded up. But just do the glue one at a time so it doesn't dry out on you. Okay, I am like always so impressed with how nicely these turn out. There we go, last edge. Don't forget to put the cap on your glue right away. Okay. Awesome. So there's your wrapped cover. And you can, when you fold it, make sure inside is creasing nicely. Okay. You don't have anything not wanting to stick down. So I'm kind of at this stage with my book. The next thing you want to do before we add our pages, and oh, I'm just gonna read in the comments. Agatha is gonna head out. Yes, Agatha, we were going to do this every week, so we hope you'll join us next week. Every Saturday morning, we're going to be doing a new craft. And so just pay attention to our newsletter and our social media to find out what we're going to be making next Saturday. We're going to let you guys know at the beginning of the week, so probably like Sunday or Monday, we'll release the information for next Saturday's craft, okay? So thanks so much for joining us, and please make sure you come back and watch the rest of the video later when you have some more time. And also send us a picture of what you made, okay? Because you'll be entered into our second draw. Awesome. So the next thing we're going to do is, and it looks like, yeah, we're going to go over a little bit over 1 hour, but that's okay. I'm here all day if you guys are cool to hang out. We're going to create the inside pages to give it that finished look. So all these are cut to the same size as your text block. Okay, so just cut a piece of cardstock or any paper you want to use. It's just going to cover up the rest of the cardboard and give it a nice finished look. So this one is cut, it's a 1/4 sheet, and I just cut it in half. And that gave me the perfect size for these 2 pieces here. Okay. And I'm just going to add a bunch of glue and stick it on. And again, glue on both sides. So the important thing to note with adding this is that you're lining up this edge with your score line. And what you're looking for is this little border, okay? And this is what's called the reveal. So it just shows like a little bit of that the scrapbooking paper on the inside edge. It gives it that professional look. So if you guys have hardcover books at home, take a look because you'll probably notice that little reveal on the books at home. Casey joined us. Hi, Casey. Thanks for coming. You got my email. Excellent. So happy to have friends joining us on our first ever craft show. Ooh, I'm getting to the end of my glue stick. Good thing this is the last thing I have to glue. These don't last very long, do they? I like to buy the big ones when I can. Okay. Here we go. So remember, you're keeping the spine exposed, so you're not covering it up, and you're having that little reveal. Okay, give it a good rub. Make sure everything's sticking well. Casey, I hope you're going to make a book. All right. Actually, I do need I still need this glue stick, so I'm going to go grab another one from my drawer. Be right back. Whew. Good thing I have a lot of craft supplies. Okay. Okay, this is the final step to attaching your book. Thanks for everyone who's been hanging out with us so far. This is the moment you've all been waiting for. How to attach your text block to your cover. It's super simple. You do need a glue stick, and we're going to put our glue on the side that's closest to where the stitching is. So just take your glue stick and run it up and down about 4 or 5 times. Okay, lots of glue. And then we're going to take it and line it up with that inside sheet we just added and give it a rub. Okay, so your pages, because they're a little bit smaller than your cover, you should still see the edges of your cover when you add it. And that way it provides a little extra protection for your pages when the cover is a little bit oversized. So I'm going to do the same thing, the side with the stitching. I'm going to rub my glue up and down. And then I'll take the cover and fold it closed and give it a good rub. Now to get it to bond really well, it's always good to have it under a bit of pressure. So I'm gonna, if you have more clips, like the ones from your press, I'm just gonna borrow a couple. this is a good thing to add while the glue kind of dries. So put a bit of pressure or put it underneath some heavy books, for example. That'll work as well. And that's all you need to do to attach it. Give it some time to dry properly. This is my little swap out. I can also show you guys how to add the elastic band really quickly as well. And so when you open it up, this first page will kind of be the one that's stuck down. So, but the rest of the pages you'll be able to open fully. Okay. Krista hates it when her pages get squashed in her bag. Yes. So this design is good for protecting pages. All right. One last thing I do want to show you guys before we end our show today is how to add this elastic band, and it's so simple, so quick to do. I do want to have something to poke into, so I'm going to grab a scrap of cardboard and I'm going to make a hole on the cover. So whatever the back cover is, that's where you want to make your hole. And I'm going to do it, I'm just going to eyeball it about, you know, a centimeter from the edge, and in about the middle is where I'm going to poke a hole here with my push pin or your awl. And then you still have to make that hole bigger. So take your pencil, and because the pencil's tapered, it'll make a hole. So you can kind of see. It just needs to be big enough for the elastic to go through. So grab an elastic band. This one's a good size. I like the green. And then you're going to feed it through that hole. And you might need to use like something to help push it through. Like a pencil works well. Okay, pull your elastic, and then you're going to take one side of the elastic and feed it through the loop. Okay, and then you just pull tight. That's it. It's that easy. Okay, and now you can close your book up and it fits your little pencil, and it's so cute. I love it. I hope you guys enjoyed that. And I hope you got a good start on your books today. Again, don't worry if you joined in a little late, because this video is available. It should be the same link, and we'll definitely have it posted on our website as well. I hope, if you guys have any questions, please leave them in the comments. I think we're going to wrap up our live stream for today. But if anything was unclear, you can always reach out and ask more questions. I hope you'll share this video with anybody that you think that might enjoy it, especially teachers. Like I said, it's a great activity to do with your class. And these makes just such great gifts. I'm going to be, so everyone who's participated in the live chat today, your name is being entered into a draw. I'm going to check in with Carissa to see if she's prepared to do that draw now, or might have to do it later. We'll see. But it's always exciting to do it live. So we're going to be drawing one of the books that I made today, and I'll be able to mail that. It's a nice little thing you can pop in the mail. Ooh, Carissa says she can do our draw. Fantastic. So let us know, Carissa. We'll do a little drum roll, and we'll announce our winner of our live stream draw. If you're watching this later, if you're not part of the live show, please leave us a comment. Or what we're going to be doing actually this week is, we thought it would be fun to have you submit a picture of your finished book and either tag us on social media with at mindful_makers, or just email us the picture directly. We're gonna share that out with our social media channels, because we want to share what you've made. So if you submit us a photo, then you'll be entered into the draw for basically it's open for the rest of this week, and we'll be doing that draw at the beginning of next week's show. So I hope that makes sense. Hope I'm not rambling too much. This is our first draw winner is Luella. Wow, congratulations, Luella. So you're going to be able to pick one of the books that I've made today. Actually, you can choose from Any of these three. Just let me know if you want the pinky one, the bluey one, or the purple one. Okay, and we'll get that out to you as like a little thank you for participating in our show today. And yeah, I just want to say thanks again for everybody who came to watch our first show. And please join us next week. We have another new craft planned. It won't be bookbinding. It'll be something totally different. We're going to be announcing it on Monday. And so thanks again, and hope you enjoy your long weekend. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Bye.